Hello and welcome back to the port. I'm the Gav Major, and this is a Let's Play in the American Tier 7 tech tree carrier, the Lexington. Now this is a Tier 7 and legendary game of domination on the Atlantic. On the enemy team we have a Shimakaze, a Suzuya in a division with a Vladivostok and a Jean Bar. We have a Charles Mattel and a Margi, an Alabama, a Grosser and a Shakuku. Now initially as a carrier you're going to be looking at getting your autopilot setup. Now I think my initial position is probably just to move forward, probably only a square or two, so I'm going to set that. Now the trick of the autopilot is don't touch your steering once you've set it, and then that way the autopilot keeps going. However, you can adjust your speed, so in this case I will drop it to half speed because I don't want to race up too quickly. Now with the Americans, the bombers are definitely the higher damage dealing aircraft. However, you do also have torpedo flights. And so at the start of the game, I'm going to play the torpedo flight because they are the slightly weaker squadron. So initially, I'm not looking to really be dealing too much damage. Second of all, I'm also looking to just push up as quickly as possible. Now you will note I'm playing a division. I'm playing a division with Wargod in the Otago and Saxman in the Tashkent. And my purpose here is to push up and just drop some fighter cover over Sax here, and then that way that might hopefully drive this enemy torpedo flight away from the enemy Shakuku. I'm also going to be doing some spotting. Now there's a lot of battleships on the enemy team, which does mean there's a lot of potential damage I can cause here, but I've just got to try and pick the most isolated ship if I can. Noting on this right flank, they probably have a destroyer located in Charlie, but furthermore you're also looking at the potential that they do have the carrier and one of the cruisers operating over here. So I am just going to quickly nip back over the Alpha Cap. I'm trying to avoid these enemy fighters, which are also located to the north of the Bravo Cap. Basically, I'm just trying to work out what's the most isolated target, and preferably what's the most isolated target with not the best anti-aircraft capability. I'm seeing this Grosser Kerr first. The Alabama's gone, so that's really nice because the Alabama does have quite a strong complement. Dropping some more fighters over the center objective in order to protect my friendly destroyer as I start my attack run on the Grosser Kerr first. Now I'm coming under fire, noting the enemy carrier. Now the enemy carrier will have a really good anti-aircraft complement, so again that is something to be concerned about. Now noting with the tier 7 torpedo bombers, only got 10 seconds in order to get the torpedoes away, which is a bit less than say the tier 5s. Tier 5s you are looking at having a slightly higher time in order to get your torpedoes out. Getting a flood in on the Grosser Kerr first, so I might I wonder if I can. Yes, I can say target the Grosser Kerr first. My idea there is to probably try and identify that I've already made a hit on the Grosser Kerr first. Also noting the enemy's got a decent push happening on the right flank, so I want my carrier to be moving probably more to the left flank. I'm trying to keep up with my team though, trying to keep my carrier moving at all times. Reason being is if I can keep my carrier moving, keep it close enough to the enemy team, I reduce my flight time to the enemy. Going to target this Vladivostok because it is also now isolated. Might drop a fighter consumable in a second, but we're racing up on this Vladivostok. Activating the dive. Again, the dive has got quite a short amount of time. Get those bombs away. Get enough double fire on the Vladivostok, also spotting the enemy Shimakaze, but I'm not exactly in the best position in order to engage that. I'm probably going to lose this last aircraft. Yes, we did. So, but we do have enough aircraft again to launch the bombers again, and I think my intention will be to try and drop some fighters again over Sax here, because he looks like he's being potentially pestered by the enemy carrier. So I'm going to do that, and again I'm going to go straight after the Vladivostok. Now we are coming under fire from the Vladivostok because obviously I was spotted by the enemy carrier. However, going after Vladivostok, getting 3 hits. Vladivostok is again quite isolated, so I'm going to swing around, go straight back at the Vladivostok, because we know he's come under torpedo attack, he's come under bomb attack. I know he's used his damage con, just getting some bombs away as the battle of his stock is finished. Noting that Bravo's being capped, so I think I will grab some torpedo flight and head into Bravo and see if I can find this enemy Shirakaze and then maybe pester him, but I have to be careful because of the enemy ships there, especially the Jean Bar. Jean Bar's got quite a ferocious anti-aircraft component, and this early in the game, spotting the Shimikaze's torpedoes, spotting the Shimikaze's AA. Whether or not we can actually get a sneaky torpedo drop, just dropping it early there, and with the intention of having a rather ridiculous drop of spread of the torpedoes. Again, I think we're just going to go after the Shimikaze. Go for quite a ridiculous spread as well, and just see if we can keep some pressure on this. Going to switch to my bombers because they're going to be quite effective against the Shimikaze. Again, getting another torpedo hit on the Shimikaze. Shimikaze is down to barely in HP. He's also been forced out his smoke screen, so I'm going to keep the pressure on the Shimikaze. There goes the Shimikaze. That's a very good position for us to find ourselves in. Sax has been able to stay A-OK in the centre. I will quickly drop some fighters over this centre. Might have to just position myself in a slightly different position here as we make a push onto the Jean Bar, preparing the drop and drop, getting triple fire on the Jean Bar. You note that the enemy team seems to be clustering around their aircraft carrier. The reason being is they're hoping that they can basically gain enough AA cover, I guess you can say, from their carrier. However, it does mean they're putting their carrier at a slightly exposed position. Just on the minimap, I just want to set my autopilot. There we go. Now, because we got a triple fire on the Jean Bar, we're going to go straight after that Jean Bar again. And also, Sax being partially exposed in the centre. In fact, it looks like the torpedo flight seemed to be going after our friendly Otago, so I might quickly dash over and get a flight of fighters down in the general vicinity of our cruiser over here. At least then maybe we can cost their torpedo flight a couple more aircraft. Then going to make a turn and make a close in on this Jean Bar. Looks like the enemy carrier is now gone. There goes the Jean Bar, and in fact, with the enemy carrier now gone, I'm going to change my autopilot and actually push into Bravo. Enemy Charles Mattel. Now, I think against the Charles Mattel, it's more of just the generalist potential threat that I might cause to him, rather than what I can actually do. Hopefully we can line up an attack here. Just dropping it early, getting a spread just in case he manoeuvres. Getting 2 hits and the incapacitation, and we will quickly loop it round. Hopefully the bombers will be ready. There we go. Right, ready. Dropping it now. Dropping short, unfortunately. Now, for the cruiser as well, I probably want to try and put them into a bit more pressure. Now, one thing it's worth mentioning when you do the autopilot is every time you set a new location on the autopilot, it will automatically set your carrier to full speed ahead. So should you wish to change your speed of your carrier, you will have to unfortunately do that back at the carrier. You won't be able to do that in the autopilot mode. Now with that all done, I'm going to change my autopilot again. There's not really any need for me to have to drop fighters anymore, but we can use our engine cooldown consumable. What that does is it obviously cools down the engine, which then means you can then get back up to your hot engine temperature as quickly as possible, which then means obviously you can just get closer to the target. Now, when it comes to the commander build and the ship modules, that'll be all down in the description as per always. But it's worth always mentioning that when it comes to the commander build, obviously it's Ernest King, and I've kind of refocused the build around the high explosive bombs. I found that just yields some of the best results with that. Furthermore, when it comes to the inspirations, yes, I've focused a little bit on the bombs, I guess you could say, but furthermore, we've also focused on the torpedo speed using the recently dropped Space Fishy commander, I guess you could say. Now, considering the Suyasuyu, or whatever we want to call the new cruise, I guess you could say, is on the edge of the map, we might as well just try and get a very nice torpedo cluster. Slowing it down. Drop now before we run out of time. Now just quickly making a move here to try and keep as much of this flight as possible. Swing it round onto the broadside cruiser. Dropping in for a drop. Trying to slow down the engines as much as possible to try and close in the reticle. Go for a drop and see what we can get. We might get one. No, unfortunately not. But we'll switch to some bombs now. We'll also start moving our cruiser further north. Our carrier, I should say. And there she goes. So, all in all, it's a vague idea of how I've been playing them. My damage has been slowly increasing. I find with these you kind of have to just go hell to leather with them in order to try and maximise the amount of damage you can do with them. At the start of the game it can be quite difficult because enemy ships like to cluster up for area protection. As the game develops, as the enemy team gets whittled down, you can then start picking out those targets, and it's about knowing what ships do have decent AA and don't have decent AA. 4 torpedo hits, 13 bomb hits, shot down 4 aircraft, managed to set 5 fires, get 1 flood in, even get a defender, and shot down another 5 aircraft as well. Team results coming 4th from the team, which actually isn't too bad, especially for a carrier. Usually with a carrier you're lucky to make it into the upper half of the team, so I can't really complain about that. And economy wise, making quite a decent profit with a premium count and an epic credit booster. I'm just finding I have to equip an epic credit booster with the carriers, just trying to ensure I do make some form of credit gain with them, because obviously some games you do well and some games you don't do too well either. But all in all, quite happy with that. And if you have enjoyed it, feel free to give it a thumbs up. Down in the description is the commander build and the ship modules if you so desire, along with the link to Patreon if you want to support the channel on Patreon, and the email address for the channel if you want to send in any of your own game captures. Until next time, I'm the Galloping Major, and back to the port.
Hey, hey, clear the way, here comes the Galloping Major. Bumpity, 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 bump. Get out of the way there, you fellows, unless you want me to run you down. I guess this is the life. Now, hey, hey, clear the way, here comes the Galloping